All right, ready to dive into some punk rock?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Awesome. So we've got articles here, like all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Best of lists, history of punk rock and politics.
Interesting.
And our goal is to figure out, is punk still relevant in 2024?
Still got that rebellious spirit, right?
Yeah. Like, do safety pins and shouting actually lead to, real change today?
It's a good question. We've got some classics here. Punk rock's 40 best albums.
Okay, yeah.
Best punk songs of all time. Talking about, like, the Ramones, Sex Pistols, The Clash.
Yeah.
These are the OGs.
They really set the stage.
Totally.
But beyond just, like, the nostalgia,
Yeah.
do those anthems still resonate today?
Yeah.
Can a song about anarchy actually make someone question authority?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. Think about those early punk shows, the mosh pits, the destroyed instruments, just raw energy.
Yeah.
It really shocked people. It wasn't just music, it was a cultural, like,
Earthquake.
earthquake.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah. It made people wake up.
Yeah. Like, just reading these descriptions, it really paints a picture. You can, like, almost feel that energy jumping off the page.
Oh, totally.
Like, I thought it was cool reading about Richard Hell in that 40 Best Albums article.
Yeah.
He'd just rip his clothes up on stage.
Oh, yeah. Way before it was a fashion thing.
Exactly. Like, it wasn't a gimmick. It was real.
Pure expression.
But I'm curious, how did that energy actually lead to change?
Well, you got to remember the time. The 70s.
Right.
Economic hardship, political scandals.
People were fed up.
Exactly. Punk gave them a voice,
Yeah.
a way to, like, channel that frustration.
Yeah.
It was pushing back against the system. It wasn't just rocking out.
So it's like that saying, the personal is political.
Yes. Punk bridged that gap, from feeling angry to actually doing something about it.
It wasn't just here, right?
No. You see this even in the Spanish punk scene. Like Escorbuto, they had this raw, uncompromising sound.
Powerful.
Yeah, they were a voice for the marginalized in Spain.
So it's like punk wasn't limited by language or borders.
Not at all.
That feeling of being an outsider, like not fitting in,
Yeah.
was universal.
Absolutely. And punk gave them a platform to connect.
So how did this actually become a tool for change?
Yeah.
I know the articles talk about like specific movements.
Yeah. Like in the UK,
Okay.
the Rock Against Racism movement, big concerts, punk bands, all kinds of artists coming together, fighting racial prejudice through music.
Wow.
Yeah, the energy at those shows, it was incredible. Like music and activism all rolled into one.
Yeah.
It really resonated. It wasn't just about race, though.
Right.
Punk took on all sorts of issues.
Yeah.
In the U.S., you had bands like the Dead Kennedys going after the Reagan administration with their, like, biting satire, political lyrics.
Their song California Uber Alles comes to mind.
Oh, God.
Taking on Jerry Brown first,
Yeah.
then adapting it for Reagan.
Amazing how they used humor and wit to make a statement.
Yeah, it wasn't just angry yelling.
No, it was smart. It made you think.
Yeah, thought-provoking rebellion.
Exactly. And that's where the whole DIY thing comes in.
Okay, yeah.
They didn't wait for permission,
Right.
They created their own platform.
Their own labels, their own zines.
Yeah, taking control, making their voices heard.
But how does that spirit, that anti-establishment DIY thing, how does that survive today? When a lot of the things punk fought for are kind of mainstream now?
It's a great question.
Like, is it still rebellious to be a pro-environment, to be pro-equality?
Right, when those views are pretty much the norm now.
Yeah.
That's where punk had to evolve, right?
Okay.
The articles Punk is Alive, the future of punk, they talk about that.
So it's not just about mohawks and leather jackets anymore.
No.
Now it's different subgenres, different causes.
Exactly. It's a kaleidoscope now.
Okay.
Not one thing.
Yeah.
You've got punk-inspired movements for climate change, animal rights,
Right.
challenging gender norms, all fueled by that same energy,
Still wanting to make a better world.
Absolutely.
But is it still punk if it's not like raging against the machine?
Right.
Has it become too integrated?
Like, part of the system it was trying to dismantle.
Yeah.
That's the debate, right?
Yeah.
Some say true punk can't exist in the mainstream. It loses its edge.
Makes sense.
Others say punk going mainstream means it won.
Oh, interesting.
That its ideas are shaping culture from within.
So, like that saying, if you want to change the system, you got to be part of it.
Exactly.
But doesn't that risk losing the outsider perspective?
It's a tough balance.
Yeah.
But the key is to keep that punk spirit,
Okay, yeah.
The questioning, the challenging. Don't just accept things blindly.
So how does that translate to action in 2024? What does a modern-day punk look like?
Well, it's all kinds of things.
Okay.
You got bands like Green Day calling out injustice on a global stage.
Like when Billy Joe Armstrong changed the lyrics of American Idiot
Oh, yeah. To criticize the MAGA agenda.
on New Year's Eve.
Right. Caused a huge stir online.
Oh, yeah, social media blew up.
That brings up another point.
Okay.
Punk's playing out in the digital world now, too.
Oh, interesting.
Social media has become a battleground for ideas,
I see. Yeah.
and punks are using it to organize, to call out hypocrisy.
So it's like the mosh pit's gone virtual. Instead of slam dancing, it's #wars.
Haha, kinda. But that energy's still there. The passion, the desire for change.
So we see punk's evolved, it's diversified, found new ways to express itself.
Absolutely.
But what about its impact? Does it still inspire change, revolutionary minds?
I think it does, but maybe in a different way.
How so?
Punk's influence is less about specific political ideas now.
Okay.
It's more about a way of thinking, a way of being in the world.
So less about telling people what to think.
Right.
More about encouraging them to think for themselves.
Exactly. Question authority, challenge the status quo,
Stand up for what you believe in.
even if it means going against the grain.
So is punk more than just noise?
I believe it is. It's a catalyst.
Fori.
Critical thinking, social awareness, empowerment. It reminds us we all have a voice.
That we can make a difference.
Exactly.
But in 2024, what does that difference look like? Has punk's vision been realized?
Well, the world today is so different from when punk started, right?
Totally.
And that article, What Are the Politics of Punk in 2024? It really makes you think.
What did you find interesting about it?
It points out that so much of what punk was fighting for, like social justice, is pretty normal now.
Yeah, back then, those were radical ideas.
Exactly. LGBTQ rights, environmentalism. Now it's like every corporation's talking about it.
So it's almost like punk won.
Yeah, kinda.
But then what? What happens next?
Well, the article argues punk's role is different now.
Okay.
It's not the only voice of dissent anymore.
Right.
It's part of a much bigger movement.
So it's almost stronger now, in a way,
I think so.
Oh,
Like
we're
punk
talking-
planted these seeds,
of rebellion.
Yeah, and now they're growing everywhere.
And that's punk's real legacy.
I think so. It's not about the Mohawks or the music. It's about that questioning spirit.
Not taking things at face value.
Exactly.
So even if you don't know anything about the Clash, you can still be punk.
Absolutely. It's about finding your own voice, your own way to challenge things.
Even in small ways.
Yeah. Like everyday rebellion.
So maybe the real revolution isn't one big thing.
Right.
It's a million little acts of defiance.
That add up to something bigger.
Exactly. It's like instead of smashing guitars on stage, you're smashing apathy in your own life.
Love that.
So, listener, what's your act of rebellion going to be? What norms are you going to challenge? What voice are you going to amplify? The spirit of punk's still out there. It's waiting for you to find it, so go make some noise.